Hi humans, let's talk about day 17. Day 17 is focused on being persistent and doing good. Persistent. I don't know about you, but being persistent takes a lot of work, a lot of energy, a lot of willpower to actually follow through on that. So being persistent about doing good. Hebrews 12:1 says, and I'm reading from the New King James Version, it says, "Therefore we also, since we are surrounded by so great a cloud of witness, let us lay aside every weight and the sin which so easily ensnares us, and let us run with endurance the race that is set before us." There's more verses to go to that. There's a lot happening here. But there's a couple things that stuck out to me. There's a lot of things that there's a lot of details in here that we can kind of take out from. But these past weeks and months, I have made it my mission to really look inside, really see who I am. Not looking for my identity, none of that, but just kind of taking a pause on everything and just looking at myself and seeing what areas are within me that I need to kind of look at. What areas I need to change, what areas I'm good at, what areas do I thrive in. Just kind of taking a step back and just pausing and seeing, trying to see myself through the eyes of God, trying to have grace with myself, trying to be nice to myself, also wanting to always look for ways to honor God and to serve God and ways to just be better. So I kind of looked at this verse with those lens on. I looked at it where it says, where the church as a whole, our church was going through this 21-day fast, and they're looking at being persistent in doing good, you know. It is talking about here a race, right? And we can look at that in so many different ways, a race of life, or what are we doing, where we're going, all those things. But what caught my attention was two things. First thing, I read it knowing that the book of Hebrews is to a people that already believe in God. And it's telling the people, hey, don't get tired. Keep going. Keep going. That's the purpose of the book of Hebrew, and that's what they talk about in there. So as I'm reading it with that in context. I'm also reading the fact that it encourages people to just kind of remove things in your lives that can hinder you and cause bitterness and anger and all these things, or just stop you from growing and thriving. So I'm reading that in that context. So when I was reading it, even though I was thinking of myself, the words that stuck out to me was the word wait was the first thing that stuck out to me. And when I thought of wait, I wasn't necessarily looking, because remember, I'm looking at myself. I'm kind of doing this inspection of me, inspection of my heart, inspection of my behaviors, inspection of my thought processes, inspection of how I communicate or lack thereof. It's looking at all those things of me because I want to pursue what's good. I want to keep going on what's good. So I'm trying to identify those areas that are good. But in order for me to really hone in on what's good, I also have to look at areas that I need to change. So I was looking at that, and it says lay aside every weight. So the word weight to me is what caught my attention. So I was like, what are weights in my life? What are things in my life that are kind of hindering me or kind of slowing me down? Because if you're thinking of a race, if a person that's racing, they don't wear weights and weighted vests and all this to race. So I'm looking at it in that context. So I'm looking at my life. What are areas in my life that are causing me to slow down? What are areas in my life? And not necessarily, they don't always have to be bad things. There are obviously some things that are slowing me down from my race of becoming more and more and more like Christ, because that's the race that I want to run. That's the race that I want to stay on track. I may sometimes kind of deviate and want my own plan, my own agenda, things that I want on my own, but I want to come back. I always want to align myself to what God has for me in my life. And so what are weights in my life? And I ask you the same question in your race to be more and more like Christ. What are things in your life that are hindering you? What are weights that are pulling you back from getting closer to God, from being more like God, from changing who we are and how we are to be more like He is and how He is? So what are those weights in my life? So I've been identifying those things that I need to, like, there's some weight I need to kind of let go. But the next thing that stuck out to me was what it says after that, and the sin which so easily ensnares us. And so I was thinking about that. The sin that easily ensnares us. So I was looking at my life, because a lot of times when we think of sin, we think of these horrendous things, or no, I don't do that, not me. But I may not be doing things, but maybe those things are around me. Maybe I'm exposed to certain things. Maybe I put myself in position and places and around people and things that can easily entice me to go into that direction. It may not even be something that happens right away. It can be something that is so subtle. It gradually happens and I don't even realize that it happens. And I know I've been there plenty of times. Maybe you've been there plenty of times. But let's take a moment to sit back and understand we want to persist in doing good. We want to do God's will. We want to love God, trust God, follow God. That's what we want to do. So what are the weights in my life that hinder me from doing that? Or I can still do that, but it's making it harder for me. It's slower for me to get there. What are the things that are around me that I don't even realize that can easily cause me to fall astray? What are those things in your life? I found a few things in my life that I didn't even notice that have been there, and they're not even bad things. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can just be distracted by certain things. And I'm not saying we must have this holy, perfect life, but what I'm saying is, let's take a minute. Let's look. What are the things that are around us that fuel us and help us to stay where we're at? Not help us grow in our faith, help us grow in our peace, help us grow in our joy. What are those things in our lives? Is it memories? Are we hanging on to memories? Or is that what fuels us and slows us down? Has that become a weight? Has that weight become a sin in our life? What are those things? I think it's time to, for me, I said to myself, I think it's time to take an inventory and just kind of look around me. What am I reading? What am I listening to? What shows am I watching? Again, I'm not saying that we have to be so heavenly minded that we're no earthly good. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying, let's check our humanity. Where am I at? Where am I at? How can I identify these places in our life, these things in my life? And I want to do that because I want to persist to do good. Just like the scripture says. And let us run with endurance the race that is set before us. And that is to be more and more like Christ. That's the race. Be more and more like Christ every day. In our struggles, in our good times, in our bad times, in our ugly times. That we can be more and more like Christ. I hope that you're able to take a moment, take a pause, and identify those things in your life that are hindering you from getting closer to God. See you soon. Have a great day.